The doorbell rang like a warning. When I opened the door, my sister Emily stood there with 4 kids clinging to her legs, Ethan, Olivia, Sophia, and baby Liam. Her mascara was smudged, her car engine still running at the curb. "Just 1 hour, Laura," she said, shoving a diaper bag into my arms. "I need to clear my head." Before I could speak, she was gone, taillights shrinking into the street. An hour passed, then 2, then 10. The note in the diaper bag read only, "I'll be back soon. Thank you." She never came back. And that's how my life and theirs completely changed. My name is Laura Bennett, and back then I was 45 working as a nurse at Mercy General in Sacramento. I lived alone in a rented duplex near the hospital. Quiet neighborhood, faded porch light, the kind of place where nothing dramatic ever happened. I liked it that way. I worked, paid my bills, slept through the noise of the city, and told myself I was content. Emily, my younger sister, was the opposite of quiet. She'd always chased something faster. Married young, had 4 kids by 30, divorced by 31. When she called, it was usually from chaos kids, screaming music, blaring her voice, breaking through with a, "You have no idea how hard it is, Laura." I'd listen, calm her down, sometimes send a little money. I didn't judge her. I just thought she needed time. The day she left the kids, I kept believing she'd walk back through that door any minute. I made mac and cheese, kept her phone number pinned to the fridge, and checked my messages every hour. When the phone was finally disconnected, the silence hit me like a second betrayal. The first week, I barely slept. Ethan, 8, tried to act grown, reading bedtime stories to his sisters. Olivia, 6, asked every night, "Mom's still shopping," right? Sophia, 4, would hide under my table when the doorbell rang. And little Liam cried until he hiccuped himself to sleep in my arms. I called our parents. They hadn't heard from Emily either. My mother whispered, "She'll come back," but her voice didn't sound convinced. After 2 weeks, I knew the truth no one wanted to say out loud. She'd left for good. Bills stacked up. Formula, school supplies, babysitters. My paycheck barely covered rent. I picked up night shifts, 12 hours on my feet, coming home to sleepy hugs and cold coffee. The neighbors thought I'd lost my mind taking in 4 kids that weren't mine. Maybe I had. But every time one of them laughed, something in me healed a little. There was no dramatic decision, just small ones, signing Ethan and Olivia up for school, filling Sophia's ballet form, teaching Liam to tie his shoes. Somewhere between the late-night feedings and the report charts at work, I stopped being Aunt Laura. I was just Mom, even if I never said it out loud. Still, I kept Emily's note tucked inside the diaper bag, those 4 careless words, "I'll be back soon." Sometimes on the hardest nights, I'd read them again and whisper, "You already came back, Em, just not the way you think." 10 years can pass quietly when you're too busy surviving to count them. By the time I turned 55, the house no longer smelled like disinfectant and takeout. It smelled like life-wet soccer cleats, cheap perfume, burnt toast. My 4 kids, because that's what they'd become, had their own corners of the world now. Ethan was applying to colleges, Olivia sang at school, concerts, Sophia danced in every recital she could afford, and Liam spent weekends covered in grass stains from football practice. I worked days instead of nights. We had routines, inside jokes, 1,000 tiny rituals that stitched us together. On Sundays, we'd pile on the couch, half asleep, watching old movies with popcorn in a mixing bowl. No one said it out loud, but this was a family, ours. I didn't talk about Emily anymore. The kids had stopped asking around year 3. For them, the silence had become normal. For me, it was the only way to keep the peace inside my own head. Sometimes I'd find that old note in a drawer, those 4 words, "I'll be back soon." I think you already missed everything worth coming back to. Still, a part of me stayed cautious. I kept every school certificate, every doctor's record, every bill with my name on it, proof that I had raised them, that I had built something real. I told myself it was for practical reasons, but deep down I knew it was fear. Fear that one day she'd return and try to take it all. One late afternoon, the house was golden with summer light. Olivia's voice drifted from her room. Sophia's ballet shoes tapped faintly on the floor. Liam's laughter rolled from the backyard. I was folding laundry when the doorbell rang, the same sharp 2-note sound that had changed my life a decade earlier. For a second, my body froze. My mind went blank. Then the sound came again, insistent, familiar. I walked to the door, my heart hammering, like it was trying to warn me. When I opened it, time folded in on itself. Emily stood there. Not the exhausted, messy version I remembered, but polished hair, sleek makeup, perfect. Next to her, a man in a tailored suit held a briefcase. "Hello, Laura," she said, smiling like we were strangers meeting for the first time. "This is my lawyer. We need to talk about my children." My hands went cold. Behind me, I could hear the TV shut off footsteps gathering in the hallway. 10 years of peace collapsed in a single breath. The man beside Emily stepped forward, voice smooth and rehearsed. "Michael Johnson," he said, handing me a thick envelope. "Ms. Turner is filing for custody of her children." Custody. The word hit harder than any slap. I stared at him, then at Emily. She crossed her arms, eyes cool, lips painted in some expensive shade of red. "You've been unlawfully keeping them from me for 10 years, she said. "I'm their mother, Laura. You had no right." Behind me, Ethan appeared at the top of the stairs, his voice sharp. "Mom, what's going on?" Emily flinched at the word mom. "See, you even let them call you that." Olivia's voice trembled. "Why are you here? I'm taking you home," Emily said, forcing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Sophia began to cry. Liam grabbed my hand, whispering, "I don't want to go." I wanted to scream to throw her out to tell her what those kids went through while she was off rebuilding her life, but my voice refused to come out. Instead, I just stood there holding Liam's hand so tightly my knuckles went white. Michael slid a business card onto the table. "The hearing is in 3 weeks. I suggest you get representation." Then they turned and walked out like it was already settled. When the door closed, the silence was suffocating. The kids gathered around me, questions flooding in. Can she do that? Do we have to go? Are we in trouble? I couldn't answer a single one. That night, after everyone had gone to bed, I sat alone in the kitchen. The house that had always felt safe now felt like a ticking clock. On the counter lay the court papers, words blurred through my tears: custody, hearing, defendant. I opened the drawer where I kept things I couldn't throw away, old report cards, drawings, and at the bottom, the note from that day: "I'll be back soon." 10 years ago, I thought it was meaningless. Now it was proof. Proof she'd walked away by choice. My mind started piecing everything together like a nurse rebuilding a broken patient. I'd need evidence, witnesses, anything that could tell the truth louder than her lies. One name rose above the noise: Jason Turner, her ex-husband. He'd gone to prison years ago, but I remembered hearing he was out. Maybe he knew where she'd been all this time. I scrolled through my contacts until I found his number, fingers shaking as I hit call. Jason. "It's Laura," I said when he answered. "Emily's back. She's trying to take the kids." He went quiet for a long moment, then sighed. "I'm not surprised. She's after something. You should come by tomorrow. There's something you need to see." Something in his tone told me this wasn't just about family anymore. It was about truth and maybe finally justice. The next afternoon, I drove to Jason's apartment on the edge of town, a rundown complex that smelled of oil and cigarettes. Jason opened the door, looking older, calmer, maybe even regretful. "Come in," he said, moving aside. His living room was sparse: a couch, a TV, a photo of the kids from years ago. He didn't waste time. "I heard what she's doing," he said. "I figured she would, once she found out your parents left you that house." "So this is about money," I murmured. "It always was." He unlocked his phone, scrolled for a moment, then handed it to me. A friend of mine recorded this years ago. He didn't even know who she was until I told him later. The video began in a noisy bar. Emily was laughing, hair blonde, from a bottle, holding a drink like a trophy. 4 kids was just too much, she said. I needed to start over. Let Laura deal with them. Her friends laughed. Someone off camera said something about guilt, and Emily smirked. Guilt, I'm free now. My stomach turned. 10 years of sleepless nights, scraped together meals, missed birthdays, and she called it freedom. Can I use this? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Jason nodded. Use whatever you need. I'll testify if it helps. 3 weeks later, the courthouse smelled of floor polish and nerves. The kids sat beside me, dressed in their Sunday best. Olivia clutched Sophia's hand. Ethan's jaw was tight, a mirror of my own. Emily entered like she was stepping onto a stage. Designer dress, confident stride her lawyer, a few steps behind. She didn't even glance at the kids. The bailiff called our case. Judge Robert Davis, gray-haired and stern, took his seat. The room settled into silence. Michael Johnson stood first. Your Honor, my client, Ms. Turner, was suffering from severe depression at the time she temporarily entrusted her children to her sister. Ms. Bennett then refused to return them, cutting off contact entirely. For 10 years, Ms. Turner was denied her rights as a mother. His voice was smooth, practiced. Emily dabbed at imaginary tears. When he finished, David Ross, my lawyer, rose. Your Honor, we have a very different version of events. He handed the judge a folder. Inside is the only note Ms. Turner left. It says, "I'll be back soon." That was 10 years ago. She never returned, never called, never wrote. Ms. Bennett raised these children alone, providing food, shelter, and education, all documented. Emily shook her head dramatically. I tried to call. She blocked me. David didn't flinch. Then why did she change her number? Why did she disconnect her email? And why Your Honor? Did she tell her friends something very different? The judge frowned. What do you mean, counselor? David turned toward the back of the courtroom. We have a witness. The door opened. Jason stepped in wearing a plain shirt and the weight of too many mistakes. Emily's face drained of color as he approached the stand. Mr. Turner, David said, how long have you known Ms. Turner? Since we were teenagers, Jason replied. Married for 10 years, 4 kids. After the divorce, did she maintain contact with her children? No, not once. And do you have something you'd like to present to the court? Jason nodded, unlocking his phone. The bailiff took it, plugged it into the screen. The lights dimmed slightly as the video filled the room. There she was, Emily younger but unmistakable, laughing in that crowded bar. Her words echoed against the courtroom walls. 4 kids was just too much. I needed to start over. Let Laura deal with them. The room went dead silent. The judge leaned forward. Olivia began to cry softly beside me. Ethan reached for her hand. Sophia looked away. Liam pressed against my arm, whispering, "She really said that." Emily stood abruptly. That was taken out of context. I was drunk. I didn't mean it. The judge's voice was sharp. Sit down, Ms. Turner. David spoke quietly but firmly. Your Honor, this is not a case about temporary custody. It's a case about abandonment. The judge turned to Emily. Where have you been living, Ms. Turner? In San Francisco, she said faintly. And how do you support yourself? I have friends, she stammered. Do you own a home? No. Do you have employment? Her lawyer tried to interrupt, but the judge raised a hand. No further questions. He turned toward me. Ms. Bennett, these children appear to be thriving under your care. Would you like to say anything before I make my ruling? I stood, legs trembling. Your Honor, I never asked to be their mother. I just couldn't let them be abandoned. I worked nights. I missed sleep meals, birthdays. I did it because someone had to. I did it because I love them. Ethan suddenly stood too. She's our mom, he said. She's the only one who ever showed up. The judge studied us for a long moment, then nodded. I've heard enough. He looked directly at Emily. Your claim that you were denied access to your children is unsupported by any evidence. The video confirms your intent to abandon them. Full custody is granted to Ms. Bennett. Ms. Turner, you are prohibited from contacting these children without court approval for 7 years. Emily's mouth opened, but no sound came. Her lawyer whispered something, but she just stared ahead, white as paper. As the gavel struck, Olivia sobbed into my shoulder. Sophia wrapped her arms around Liam. Ethan exhaled, shoulders shaking. I wanted to stay strong, but the tears came anyway. Emily was escorted out, still whispering, They're my kids. The judge didn't even look up. They were, he said. You gave them up when you walked away. When it was over, I walked out into the sunlight, the kids surrounding me like a shield. The courthouse doors closed behind us, and for the first time in a decade, I felt the weight lift. Justice didn't roar. It whispered. It came through quiet truths and the kind of love that never needed an apology. The weeks after the trial felt strangely calm, like the air after a storm. Emily disappeared from the city. Her lawyer sent one last notice about appeal options, but nothing ever came of it. Word spread that she'd moved to Modesto, renting a small apartment, working at a grocery store. For the first time, I didn't feel angry, just empty. We moved into my parents' old house, the one she'd wanted. It needed repairs, but it was ours. I painted the walls warm yellow, bought secondhand furniture, and let the kids pick their own rooms. The first night, Olivia sang in the hallway while I unpacked dishes. Sophia danced behind her, Liam chased the dog, and Ethan laughed so hard he had to sit down. Dinner that night was simple spaghetti salad, store-brand soda, but it felt like a feast. As I passed the bowl around, Liam looked up and said softly, "Mom, can I have seconds?" Everything stopped. The word hung in the air like a prayer. I nodded, blinking fast. "Yeah, baby, you can." He grinned, piling noodles high. The others smiled too, pretending not to notice the tears in my eyes. For years, I'd fought to give them a life that felt normal. Now, for the first time, it truly was. Outside, crickets hummed. Inside, laughter filled every corner of that little house. It didn't feel borrowed anymore. It felt like home. Some nights, I still sit on the porch after everyone's asleep, the cicadas humming like a lullaby. The moonlight spills across the old diaper bag I kept all these years, the one with her note still inside. "I'll be back soon." She left them for 1 hour. I stayed for a lifetime. Inside, I can hear Ethan talking softly on the phone from his college dorm, Olivia singing in her room, Sophia practicing a dance routine, Liam laughing at something on TV. Each sound is proof that love, not blood, built this family. I don't hate Emily anymore. I don't need to. The truth already did what hate never could. It set us free. I close my eyes, whisper to the night, "We made it." Have you ever been forced to become the parent someone else refused to be? Share your story below. And don't forget to subscribe for more real stories like this one.